Hey, it's Arroe inside the laproductions.us studio, laproductions.us. It's time to play it forward. A look at the unexpected changes endured by the entertainers, writers, camera people, and all others affected but not infected by the global invasion of the coronavirus. These are real people. Real stories, the struggle to play it forward. Episode number 131 with Zach Bair. You know, for many years, Zach Bair has been the force and face of music technology. His creations have been DiscLive, a pioneering move for fans of music to experience instant live. These days, he's rolling out technology to help ensure songwriters are going to get paid for their music being played in public spaces. Now, here's the thing. Zach is also a musician. After many years of living life behind the business scenes, he's just released a brand new single called Ordinary Girl. It's a solid piece of sound that was brought together during these COVID shutdown days. We are unplugged and totally uncut with Zach Bair.
Hey, good morning. It's Zach Bair, or afternoon rather. Zach Bair giving you a call.
Oh, you're out there in that California land, aren't you?
Well, I'm actually in Memphis, so I'm a little bit closer.
Wow, dude, Memphis is where the soul of American music is, dude.
The home of rock and roll and birthplace of the blues, as they say.
You know, that explains a lot, because I was going to start things off by saying the last time that I heard songwriting like this, with those lyrics so close to the street and so close to the heart, you must be a fan of Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, I love Springsteen. Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for that, by the way. That's huge.
You really have this way of bringing those words forward to make you think about a song in the way of, like, for instance, like Ordinary Girl. What I love about this song is that it sounds like an everyday battle. And then I go and read, no, there's some struggles going on here and a self-discovery.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of that, as a matter of fact.
To bring it forward, how do you put it in that? Because, I mean, we could sit down and talk about it all day, but you've got 3 minutes and 45 seconds to put it in a song. How do you crunch it down like that?
With that particular song, some songs come to you really easily, and this was one of them. It's based on an actual experience, and because of that, I was able to, quantify really the key elements. I could understand what the girl was feeling and what she was going through, and at the end of the day, she decided that she was worthy, and thankfully wanted to stick around, and that was pretty easy to come together, actually. I mean, it wasn't something I had to spend a lot of time thinking about. It just came to me.
Well, the way that you present it is it's in a very nice, evenly paced way. In other words, you give me plenty of time to let it sink into my imagination and have a reaction.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I wasn't planning that, but I'm glad it turned out that way. I just, I came to love the song, and that's why I decided to lead with that, single on the EP. And, it means something, all the songs that I write, the Black Crowes, they can write an entire record in like a week.
That's right.
it takes me like years to write, a record.
Oh, now I'm going to be that creative professor then. So why do you think it takes years? Because, I mean, you've definitely got the drive, the passion, and the skills to do it. Do you turn into a perfectionist?
Well, I mean, in this case, I think that that it was a matter of timing, really. I wrote the song quite a long time ago, but more recently in my career on the music business side, I've met a lot of people and grown in that segment, I guess. And then when the pandemic hit, it was like, first of all, nobody was touring, so my main business, we weren't doing anything, and I had these songs that I'd written, and I was like, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to catch this virus and, be dead in 2 days. So, I better get on the stick and get these done. And that's exactly what I did. It kind of puts the fear into you. And I'm sure a lot of musicians, at least the ones that I know, kind of feel the same way, is that there's been this big creative just push during the pandemic, and this pushed me to get this song done.
Well, I got to tell you something, that this is the very first time in my 41 years of radio where I really feel like the way that musicians are releasing brand new music, I feel like I'm at Tower Records. I feel like I'm at Musicland. I mean, there's so much. I mean, I feel like that we're discovering new music every day, and I got to thank you for doing that.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, I think that there is I don't want to call it a renaissance, but I think there's just this huge creativity bubble, and you're going to see a lot of records dropping in the next couple of months, I'm sure, from people being cooped up at home and really reflecting on their life and just writing new music.
Is there a part of your creative imagination that puts you back there in the latter part of the 1960s in the way that Crosby, Stills, and Nash came through with Ohio and was starting to sing the language of the real people? Do you think we're going to go through that kind of a movement, even if it's got a little bit of a rock or a blues edge to it?
I think it's already started,
yep.
Honestly. I think there's a little bit of that going on already, and I think we'll see more of it, actually.
Rutherford Drive. First of all, a Southerner to say Rutherford, I mean, that takes a special rhythm as it is, because anybody else in the country would go, Rutherford? No, Rutherford. Tell me about this song.
Well, you know where Rutherford Drive is, don't you?
No.
In Charlotte. I was born in Charlotte.
It is not. Where in Charlotte?
I can't remember. It's kind of like southern eastern side. I don't know. I can't remember where it is. I was 4 years old when I lived there. But that's where I spent the first basically 5 years of my life, on Rutherford Drive.
Wow. I'm in Charlotte. I'm going to go look for this.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. See, I compared it that I knew that you were from the South and stuff, but I thought you were going to compare it to Rutherfordton, which is the town just right down the highway on 74. And so, but I mean, because like I said, a Southerner will understand this word and the rhythm that goes with it.
Yeah. And this, it was written, again, it was really a autobiographical type of song. And Rutherford was the first song that I did in really a long time. And that was really what I would call the start of the re-energizing of my creativity. We got that song done. And then really on the heels of that, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to do a record after this. But Rutherford Drive is actually directly south of downtown Charlotte, like around Sharon Road.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Right around that area, like Sharon Road and Fairview.
Oh my God! And what's so funny about that is that in about 25 minutes, I'm headed to a school to help them hand out computers to students, and I will drive right by there. I swear, because I go down Providence Road. Well, then all of a sudden we're going to go by Sharon Amity and all that stuff. So, oh my God! What do you think? What do you think it is about the South that brings the emotion forward? Because I mean, even if someone in the South says "bless your heart," you still feel it.
You do feel it. I grew up in the South. I grew up, like I said, I spent the first 4 or 5 years in Charlotte, then ended up in Little Rock and Fayetteville and Arkansas. And, I just think that the Southern culture itself lends itself to really, really creative, emotional songwriting. And, at least in my case, I mean, I was brought up by a single mom. My parents divorced after we left Rutherford Drive, and she was an English professor. So I'm sure that had a lot to do with it. I was always really good with English and with writing and things like that. And luckily, I've just been able to articulate a lot of that feeling into some of these songs that I write.
Well, one of the things that I've learned about you, and I'm so proud, and listeners need to understand where we're going with this, and that is that, my parents always said, get a job first, then do music. You have a real job. You're in technology, but the passion is the music.
That is correct. I've really put myself through my musical career, if you want to call it that. I've been in technology for a long, long time, and I've had a couple of startup companies that were successful and ended up selling and whatnot. And, I made the decision a long time ago that I didn't want to be one of those guys in a one-bedroom apartment in L.A. trying to make it, quote unquote, no air conditioning, 4 sweaty guys. And, that never did sound fun to me. And rather than do that, I decided to leverage my talent, which I did have, was technology. For the most part, and be able to play music alongside that. And, I guess in the last 15 years or so, I've been really fortunate that my technology career has been kind of married to the music business. And because of that, it's enabled me to meet a lot of people, develop relationships that I would have never had, back in the day when I was just getting started with music or technology. So it's really, it comes back to timing again. It's really all about not being in the right place at the right time, but it's putting yourself in that position where you have the relationships and the knowledge to understand the music as a business and not just go out and play guitar.
Well, you're absolutely right about that. I mean, that was like when I first got into radio. It was about the performance. It was about being on the air and the glory of that. And then as I grew through the ranks, all of a sudden I realized, wait a second, radio is a business. That changed the entire landscape of even how I performed on the radio.
Oh, exactly. I agree with you. And I mean, I still to this day, I mean, I get on a stage and it's just as exciting as the very first time that I got on stage. And that feeling will never go away, but the background knowledge and understanding what has to take place in order to make it a business and not just, a fun hobby or something, that's really where I think I've learned a lot.
Well, you got to understand what's going on now that you've released music and stuff like that. During this whole COVID thing, COVID hair is in, so that means you're gonna have to let that hair grow longer and get a beard, man, because that's what we do in the South.
That's what I'm talking about, man. It's already longer than it should be.
So where do you think technology is going to play in this dance with COVID-19? I mean, you're part of that game right now, and it's not just about the medicine. There's a lot of things where technology is required right now.
Well, so, especially as it pertains to music, obviously, that the touring business has been completely gutted, and artists are trying to find ways to monetize, what they used to be doing by gigs. And, they're doing streaming now and doing Venmo and, asking for donations and things like that. And there's been a kind of a swell of different technologies that have emerged to help with that. And, from my perspective, I'm real happy to say that the company that I run called Venue, VNUE, we've had a technology now for several years called set.fm, like set.fm, that we leverage to go out and record artists and release the content live directly to a mobile device when you're leaving. So for example, it's really cool. For the last 3 years, we worked with Rob Thomas. We were actually supposed to go out with Matchbox 20 this summer, but obviously that tour has been put off till next year. But what's really cool about the SetFM platform is that if you look at the music business and all the streaming that's going on, nobody is really trying to monetize the audio from the streams. And the SetFM technology, which includes a really cool plugin for DAW, like an audio workstation, you can actually run that in line with the stream and put this content up on our platform. And instead of having to beg for money, on donations, fans can actually go onto the website and buy the audio content of what they just saw on the stream. And we're really trying to get the word out about that because it's a void in the ability for all these artists to make money. I mean, the video is great, but the audio has a lot more legs to it.
So now how do you feel when let's just say COVID goes away, everything's back to normal, and you're hanging out with a Rob Thomas in the world, and you say, Rob, I put some music together. Do you say anything about it, or do you just let nature be nature and just let it happen as it falls?
That's a good question, man. The longer I've been in this business and the more people I've met, in the beginning, I would have never played the, hey, I'm a musician card kind of thing. But now that I have friends and colleagues in the industry, and they know that I play music. And so I'm not really shy about sharing that with folks like Rob or with his management and, some of the other artist managers that I know. But, turning them onto it is one thing. I don't think that it needs to be sold. Hopefully the music speaks for itself. But, I'm hoping that because of the relationships, like I've worked with Bad Company, with Peter Frampton, with Slash, and with tons of artists. Yeah, I produced 110 live records for Peter Frampton during my days when DiscLive was part of EMI called Abbey Road Live. So I've got some great relationships with bands that we could conceivably, tour with at some point. So, if and when the single gets enough traction, which I hope it will, and the EP that comes out on the 1st, you never know. I mean, touring's not going to start up till next year. And if it looks like there's some opportunity, then I'm not going to be shy about asking about it.
You know, in a really weird, interesting Kevin Bacon 6 Degrees of Separation, in reality, with that 100 recordings, those 100 recordings with Peter Frampton, you're just the continuation of Frampton Comes Alive.
Exactly. Matter of fact, it was Frampton Comes Alive 35.
Shut up. Are you kidding? Are you kidding?
Dead serious. Oh my God. Dead serious. And really cool guy. Just amazing, amazing performer. He would play literally 3 hours straight with only a very short intermission. Just crazy. It was awesome.
That's him. Where's the best place where people can go to find out more about the band as well as the new music and all that kind of stuff? Because it's time to show you some love. Oh,
thanks, man. I will take every bit of it that I can get. Yeah, so definitely want to visit the Facebook page, facebook.com /Zach Bair Official, ZachBair Official. And then you can go to YouTube or Instagram. It's all the same, Zach Bair Official. And then importantly, if you want to stream it, buy it, whatever, it's on Spotify, it's on iTunes, it's on literally everything. So those are probably the best places to check it out. And obviously we do have a website, and that's ZachBairMusic.com.
All right, man. When you come back to Charlotte, we got to get together, have a face-to-face conversation, record it while we're eating barbecued ribs and drinking sweet Southern tea.
I'm all about it, man. All about it. Nice to know you're in Charlotte, too. That's really cool. Odd coincidence.
Well, you be brilliant this weekend, okay, Mr. Zach Bair?
You as well, man. Thank you so much, and I certainly appreciate it.
That's Play It Forward. Hey, you can get more conversations just like this on all 3 of my podcasts, Like It's Live, Unplugged and Totally Uncut, and View from the Writing Instrument, found on every digital platform.